Happy Friday morning. It is 10:30 a.m. on Friday, October 19th, 2018. I'm your Comic Call host, Dylan Lang. You may be wondering, why the hell are you here now at this time? Well, I took today off of work, and this is the best time to do the Comic Call because this weekend my wife and son are away camping, and my daughter and I are going to have our annual movie marathon. So we'll be watching nothing but movies from tonight through Sunday morning. So most breaks for eating and sleeping and stuff. But sometimes eating, we can eat in front of the TV and watch the movie. So we'll see what happens. So I decided I figure I'd hit this now early. I'm expecting my HVAC people to come take a look at my heating and air conditioner. Not, and nothing's wrong with it. It's just regular annual maintenance before the winter hits to make sure Okay, that was kind of weird. It says live, and I guess I'm tracking. I will double check this when I get that, but that was weird. My internet just unconnected from me, and I don't understand why, because it was still running strongly through my phone. It was just to my computer. So I'm gonna go back in there, and then because I put out a tweet, ignore the last, because I thought I was gonna restart it, but no, I've got this one up and running now. Never mind. Use the previous, the Comic Hall link. Oops. So sorry. I'll get with you in 1 second, I promise. I know this is extraordinarily exciting. So yeah, so it looks like all the scary Halloween comics will be out next week, which I guess does make a lot of sense, because at the same time, a holiday, the Halloween free comic fest that they do is going to be that Sunday, next Saturday. So here we go again. So we'll try this again. So here's this week's books. First up, we have part 3 of The Witching Hour and New Justice League Dark, number 4, with a chrome cover, which is kind of creepy looking. I mean, you really can't tell the chrome in it, but when you look at it in person, it's actually quite cool. So that'd be cool. It's written by James Tynion IV with art by Alvaro Martinez. Bueno, so his name is Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and Ralph Fernandez is the anchor. So it's a big old mystical story involving Wonder Woman. Artwork looks really, really nice. The first couple issues, there was one in the previous Wonder Woman from last week, and then they had the Witching Hour special. Next week will be the 4th part in Wonder Woman again, and then the 5th part comes out on Halloween in its own special. So it's kind of nice looking, and Justice League Dark is always fun when you get a team of the supernatural, because DC has some great supernatural characters. Also, the prelude to the next big story arc in Justice League. Unfortunately, it's a crossover with Aquaman, and I don't read Aquaman or the Titans. So, and then I think they have their own one. So I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't think I'm that interested in it, but this is Justice League 10. It's a prelude to the Drowned Earth storyline. This is another chrome cover. They've done chrome covers for everything. This one, I got to see who it was written by, because they say Scott Snyder's the writer, Francis Manapul artist. So there's something going on there. So we'll see. I mean, I'll take a look at it, but I mean, if next week is all the and Aquaman, I think the newest Aquaman that came out this week is part of the Drowned Earth storyline. I didn't pick that up, so I might just ignore the Drowned Earth storyline. Just I'll just keep buying Justice League, or I'll skip Justice. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but there it is. If you're interested, you're interested. I mean, I guess they're setting up with the Aquaman movie and stuff like that. Now, 2 weeks ago, Batman had his chrome cover, but because it comes out twice a week, this one is not a chrome cover. This is number 57. Tom King. Tony Daniel artists, Mark Buckingham and Andrew Pipoff are the folktale artists. So you get a little bit of look at the old school fable storyline. There's a fairy tale that comes in there. And then Tony Daniel's artwork as well. This might be an issue you might want to pick up, because not only is it, Tom King's been doing it, but he's made another interesting take on Batman, and is, I think, continuing with his dismantling of Batman. In this issue, Batman does something that he never really does, and it all be due to the fact that, first of all, KGB shot Nightwing in the head, and now Nightwing has amnesia, and just everything with Catwoman and his whole life just crashing around him. So I think that's what Tom King's trying to do, sort of similar to what happened after Jason Todd died. Starlin was trying to break him down also and make him lose control, and that's why they need to bring in Tim Drake for the 3rd Robin. So we'll see how that goes with that. But there is that ending that I've heard is something that is unexpected and out of character for Batman. But if you've been reading the storyline, it actually kind of makes sense. All these people saying, "Oh, Batman doesn't do that. Batman doesn't do that." In the idea of the story, yeah, he probably does. Finally, the final issue of Green Lanterns, number 57. I had, when it first started, when Rebirth started a couple years ago, Sam Humphries was the writer, and it was great. It focused on Simon Baz and Jessica, two of the Green Lanterns who were protecting the Earth area, and they were having great adventures, and it was a great story and fantastic. And then Humphries left, and they brought on various other writers who did a bunch of other stories, and it just was not the same. And from that point on, I never really got into it. And then Dan Jurgens took it over for one last story arc, which I love Dan's stuff, but he turned this book, which was focused on Simon and Jessica, into a Green Lantern Corps book because the Green Lantern Corps book got canceled. So he wanted to tell one last story with the Green Lantern Corps book and with Hal Jordan, because you know what? I'm so sick of Hal Jordan. I've always been sick of Hal Jordan, but this story changed the focus from Simon Baz and Jessica to Hal Jordan. And that pissed me off a little bit. But this is the final issue of Green Lanterns, because next month, Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp's Green Lantern book is coming out. Now, I hate Hal Jordan, but I'm probably going to pick that up because A, it's Grant and Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp, and it's going to be more of a police procedural, and I like to see what that is going to be entails, but we'll see. But right now, I was disappointed in how this ended. This is written by Dan Jurgens with art by Mike Perkins. He brought back the Cyborg, Superman, who we've that Dan, I think, helped create and stuff like that back with the death of Superman, and then had the story take place in Coast City where he destroyed Coast City last time and broke Hal Jordan. Ooh, and we got our first ad for G. Willow Wilson's Wonder Woman, which I can't wait for also. That's coming out next month also. So there's that. So that's the end of an era. So I have every issue of Green Lanterns, despite how I disliked the last couple story arcs. But the first, 25, 30 issues was fantastic with Sam Humphries. So New Challengers number 6, this ends this miniseries run. Scott Snyder has said before this was the book that he pitched when he came on to DC, and now he's finally been able to write it. So it's a 6-issue miniseries. It's done. He had to get a co-writer for it, I guess. Aaron Gillespie and Scott Snyder writers, V. Ken Marion pencils, Sandu Floria inks. So I'm sure we'll see more of the Challengers down the line, and if we do, I'm probably not going to buy the book. I got the 6-issue series because Adam Kubert was going to be the artist, and then he left after like one issue, like all these metal books seem to be, and then that was it. So we'll see. But I'm glad this is done, so it's another one I can cross off my list. So we'll see what happens, and I'm sure they'll pop up again somewhere. Snyder's writing Justice League. He'll probably have them show up there. That's it for DC. Marvel's got some interesting books this week. They got a couple of new number ones with female leads. The first one is Shuri. I love this cover. This is based on Black Panther's sister with the popularity of the Black Panther movie from earlier this year. And this, they finally decided to give her own series written by Nnedi Okorafor, which is a African female, art by Leonardo Romero. So you get... you're going to see a Shuri book. So a lot of people might think, well, what's going to happen with Shuri? What's the story going to be? Well, you got to read it to find out. But it's just in and of itself, it's a great idea. And if you like the character of Shuri, this is your chance to really experience it. I'm going to let my daughter read this and see if she likes it. And I'll probably continue buying it. Another one I bought for my daughter that I hope she likes is The Unstoppable Wasp, number 1. This is Hank Pym's daughter with another woman before he married Janet Van Dyne. And so she's been in a few books before, but now she's a Red Room escapee. Born to Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, and his first wife, Nadia, was kidnapped as a child and raised in Russia's Red Room program, which created Black Widow. By reverse engineering her father's shrinking Pym particles, she was able to escape and travel to America to begin her life as a brand new Wasp. She's been an Avenger and a champion, but her most important role is as the founder and leader of Genius in Action Research Labs, a collection of girl prodigies using science and engineering to change the world. Written by Jeremy Whitley with art by Gurihiru, which is kind of a manga-esque artwork, but you know what? It's a comic that is geared towards women and little girls and stuff like that. So I think my daughter's really going to like this. That's why I bought it for her. And who knows, maybe I'll read it. And then my wife might like it as well. So I'll check that out. Speaking of stuff for my wife, Life of Captain Marvel number 4, continuing basically Captain Marvel year 1, written by Margaret Stoll with art by Carlos Pacheco and Rafael Fonteres in present day, and in the flashbacks, Eric Durso is the artist. Here's some Eric Durso's artwork. And then present day is right here. So you can tell the difference in the artwork because I've always loved Carlos Pacheco. But, with, Captain Marvel coming up in the movies next year, this is a good book. Plus, she's getting a new book. So after this book is over, she's restarting with new number one also. Mr. and Mrs. X number 4, I've yelled about how comics tend to show a married couple, and then they actually have a married couple comic. So I have to keep buying it because it's interesting. Kelly Thompson's a writer, so you got to love it for that, with art by Oscar Bazaldua. Even though I'm not big Gambit or Rogue fans, but the artwork looks nice, the covers look nice, and it's a married couple. So in comics, which you very rarely see anymore. So it's kind of fun to see that. So good series to keep up on. Astonishing X-Men number 16. I know a lot of people have issues with Greg Land's artwork, but I still like it. It's written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Greg Land and inks by Jay Leasteen. So it's an interesting team. Havoc and Dazzler and Thunderheart or Thunderbird rather, and Banshee and the Beast and all these different types of different characters, and it's a different take on the X-Men, and that's why I like it also. Spider-Man 311, the first Spectacular Spider-Man number 311, the first non-Chip Zdarsky issue, is a Spider-Geddon crossover. This is written by Sean Ryan with art by Juan Frigeri. So if you've been reading Spider-Geddon, you'll probably need to pick this up and follow up. Not necessarily because there's going to be a lot of Spider-Geddon crossovers that I'm not going to read, and I don't think you're going to need to read all the crossovers to understand what's going on. That's it for Marvel. DC, and actually cover number 1, Hack/Resurrection number 12, just in time for Halloween. It's written by Teenie Howard with art by Sealor. I've always liked Hack/. I wish Tim Seeley was doing it, but you know what? Can't always get what you want, but because he's the creator of it. But it's an interesting book, and he handpicked those two to do it. I'll just do all the 2 sexy covers. And then Red Sonja number 22 always has nice sexy covers because the character is really sexy. Amy Chu and Eric Burnham writers, art by Jonathan Lau. And it's your typical Red Sonja type of stuff: fantasy, excellence, big monsters, fighting, killing, disembowelment, great stuff like that. So fantastic. Next up, we have Strangers in Paradise number 7. Been loving this series and loving the continuation. Terry Moore's been doing a fantastic job, and he's upping the ante with this issue. Love the black and white artwork because it is stunningly gorgeous, and the storyline is fantastic and well worth it. Finally, we have Animosity Evolution number 8, which is the second Animosity series from Aftershock. The first one, the basic premise of Animosity is animals have gotten sentience and they have taken over the world. This book, Animosity Evolution, details the first days after they've got sentience, where the regular Animosity comic is years in the future under the animals. Marguerite Bennett, who creates and writes both series, writes this one, and Eric Gapster is the artist. So it's a good series as well. That's it. And sorry for the little blurb in there halfway through the video. So hopefully that won't be a problem when it's getting played back. And it does say live, and it says stop broadcast. So here's hoping that I didn't just waste my time. So we'll see. That's it for this week's Comic Call. Next week will be a Halloween-oriented one, more than likely, since we will have all the Halloween books. And then next Saturday is the Halloween Comic Fest, since Halloween is on a Wednesday. So we'll have a lot of Halloween stuff to talk about next week. And who knows what else. Sometime this weekend, maybe even tonight, maybe late night Saturday, who knows, depending on where film festivals end and stuff like that, and I get my daughter to bed. Dylan Knows is brand new this week, so check out that as well. And for those Pokemon Go players, don't forget Sunday is Community Day with Beldum. Get out there and do some community stuff. All right, guys, take care. Oh, and Gen 4's out, so if you haven't played Pokemon Go in a while, go get some Gen 4s. But Other than that, go to comic book store, pick up some comics, some good stuff out, particularly Shuri, Unstoppable Wasp. Start off at the beginning, #1, and maybe pick up that Batman thing because that is a huge story. And just pick up all Tom King's Batman stuff. And that's it. That's all I got. Bye.